Hello and welcome to another episode of MW3 Tips. My name is 808 and in this week's episode we're going to do a little bit of map recon. So we're going to be looking at one of the new maps, Overwatch, which has been available for quite some time for Call of Duty Elite Premium subscribers, but for everybody else I think it's been available for getting close to about a month now. So I've had a bit of a mixed bag when playing this map initially. Some matches I do really well, and then other matches I just get absolutely stomped on. The gameplay that you're watching now actually came from the very first game that I played on this map, where I won a free-for-all on it. But then the next 3 games in a row that I played on this map afterwards, I got absolutely slaughtered. And I think one of the matches I even went something horrific, like 5-10 or 5-15, something really disgusting. Now I think this is probably one of the best of the new maps that's come out. I think a good map allows all kinds of playstyles from defensive to offensive, and it really allows you to choose any kind of weapon that you want, whether it be a sniper rifle, an SMG or a shotgun. Pretty much all weapon types will work on this map. So anyway, those are my thoughts on Overwatch. I think it's a pretty awesome map. I always do pretty well on that. So without any more messing about, let's get stuck into some tips. So Overwatch is a symmetrical map, which basically means that both sides of the map are kind of like a mirror image of each other. It's not exactly the same, but it is very similar, with those staircases mirroring each other on either side of the map. As I mentioned before, the design always seems to lend itself to really fast-paced gameplay. It consists of 2 main levels. You've got an upstairs and a downstairs. Most action seems to play out on the upstairs part, and also, like I said, this map suits all playstyles and all weapons, so it really doesn't matter what you're running on this map, it's probably going to work for you. The main hotspots or areas of most action are in the center circle, which is generally upstairs, and then you also have this center passageway, which attracts the most amount of action. Now the center passage, like I said, is probably the hottest area on the map, and I would advise not running through this area at all. Every single time I've run through this area, I have died almost instantaneously. Now, generally speaking, I would advise staying away from the hotspots, but if you really do need to pass through these areas, make sure that you do it quickly and stick to the walls and grab as much cover as you can while you're doing it. So let's take a look at some of the spawn locations on this map. You can see that I've indicated the 2 main ones with the bigger circles. These are probably the main 2 that you should probably try and memorize. The other ones, yeah, there's a heap of them, so you're probably not going to remember all of those. So just be aware that there's going to be enemies coming from a myriad of different locations. So let's move along and have a look at some popular spots where those pesky campers like to hide. Now, I haven't noted down all the spots, but these are locations which I seem to find people camping all the time. You'll notice that the crane on the top right seems to be very popular, and also up on the stairway, hiding behind crates, people always like to put claymores up there as well. So let's take a closer look at some of these spots where these tricksy little hobbits are going to be hiding. I found on a couple of occasions there's been people hiding up here behind these boxes on this little ledge behind the glass. They've got a good view down the top end of the map, and they can also watch the back stairs and the other back area. So watch out for people there. They've got a decent amount of cover. Going up here is probably one of the most popular camping spots. If you jump across to this ledge and then jump across to this little area here, you'll quite often find snipers watching the back area of the map, and they can also watch that main hotspot of the map down in that center passage there. So always watch out for people there. It doesn't have a whole lot of cover, so you can generally get some easy kills. This is another particularly nasty spot where people will camp up here behind this wall, just at the top of these stairs, which is located at the back of the map, and they'll catch you when you're coming up the stairs. They can camp this whole back area here. They've got cover behind that wall, and they can even look downstairs. So just jumping down to the lower part of the map, I just thought I'd point out this center corridor that goes through the map. Often people will like to put a claymore or a Betty down there, so just watch out for that. But you can bypass it altogether by running around the outside. Now be very careful, because you can actually fall completely down the center of the map to the right there. I found that the best strategy when playing on Overwatch is generally to mix it up as much as possible and keep moving if you can, obviously while running from cover to cover. Slowing your game down often doesn't really have a desired effect, and you'll find that people will be spawning behind you, and it'll be quite annoying when you die a fair bit, because there's those little spawn points littered all over the map. So that's my basic look at Overwatch. I hope you enjoyed it and found it very useful. If you haven't picked this map up yet, I would highly recommend doing so as part of the DLC pack. I'm always a big enthusiast of new maps. It gives a new lease of life on these games. But I want to thank you guys for watching, and please consider dropping this video a thumbs up if you did like it. If you haven't already subscribed to Game Tyrant, please do so by clicking that subscribe button. And if you haven't had enough of my stuff, you can catch more of me at my YouTube channel. You'll find that the address is up on the screen right now. But I'm going to thank you again, and I will catch you people next week. See you later.